The craziest 24 hours of my life started with a rich guy laughing at me in a hotel lobby, and somehow it ended with me holding $10,000 cash while standing on a private jet runway at 3 a.m. Even now, that sounds fake, but I swear every word of this happened. Actually, scratch that. The real story started way before the money, back when I was delivering food in downtown Dallas, pretending my life wasn't falling apart. See, people online love those millionaire mindset clips. Wake up at 5 a.m., cold showers, luxury cars. Meanwhile, my reality looked more like sleeping 4 hours, eating gas station pizza, and praying my Honda Civic survived another week. I was 24 years old with maxed out credit cards, a useless business degree, and exactly $38 in my checking account. 38. Not I'm broke. I'm talking calculate if you can afford shampoo broke. My friends were all moving forward in life too. One dude got engaged, another bought a house. Meanwhile, I was doing Uber Eats deliveries to people younger than me living in luxury apartments. That messes with your head after a while. Every night I'd tell myself, bro, this can't be your life forever. But honestly, it kind of felt like it was. Then came the night everything changed. It was raining hard as hell downtown, one of those storms where rich people suddenly forget how to drive. I was delivering sushi to this massive luxury hotel where everything smelled expensive. Marble floors, golden lights, people wearing watches worth more than my car. I remember standing there soaked from rain holding a paper bag of sushi, thinking, yeah, I definitely took a wrong turn in life somewhere. Then I saw him, older guy, maybe mid-50s, perfect suit, silver watch, calm, rich person energy. And beside him were like 4 younger dudes listening to everything he said like he was Steve Jobs or something. I handed the hotel staff the order and turned to leave, but one of the younger guys accidentally bumped into me and knocked my drink all over myself. Perfect. The rich older guy looked at me and smirked slightly. Then he said, "Rough night?" I laughed awkwardly. "You could say that." I figured that was the end of it, but instead he kept staring at me for a second, like he was analyzing me. Then he asked, "How much money you got right now?" Weird question. I shrugged, like $30. The younger dudes laughed quietly. One muttered, "Damn." The older guy didn't laugh, though. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a black business card, and handed it to me. On the back, he wrote an address and a time. Tomorrow, 8 a.m. Then he said something I'll never forget. "If you show up tomorrow morning, I'll give you 24 hours to make $10,000. I genuinely thought this man was insane or running a cult, probably both. I looked at the card, no company name, no logo, just his name, Victor Hale. That was it. I asked, "What's the catch?" He smiled. "There's always a catch." Then the younger guys followed him toward the elevators, while I stood there dripping rainwater onto a marble floor, holding cold sushi hands and existential confusion. One of the hotel workers walked past me and whispered, "You know who that is?" I shook my head. The worker laughed softly. "That dude owns like half the buildings downtown." My stomach dropped. Now listen, normal people probably would have ignored the whole thing, but when you're broke long enough, crazy opportunities start sounding reasonable. So the next morning, I went. The address led to a giant office building overlooking the city. I almost turned around 3 separate times walking inside because I looked wildly out of place. Everybody in the lobby looked expensive. Meanwhile, I looked like a tired substitute teacher. Then the elevator doors opened, and Victor Hale himself stepped out, alone this time. He looked me up and down. "You came?" I shrugged. "I mean, $10,000 sounds cool." For the first time, he laughed. Then he motioned me to follow him upstairs. His office looked ridiculous. Floor-to-ceiling windows, private bar, massive skyline view. The type of office that makes you automatically sit up straighter. Victor walked to his desk and slid a small metal box toward me. Simple silver box, locked. Then he said, "Inside this box is something worth a lot of money to the right person." I frowned. "What is it?" He said, "You'll find out later." He sat down calmly. "You now have 24 hours to turn this into $10,000 legally." Interesting that he specified legally. I stared at him, waiting for more explanation. None came. Finally, I asked, "What happens if I fail?" Victor leaned back in his chair. "Then you go back to delivering sushi." Cold. Then he added, "But if you succeed, I might change your life." And just like that, the timer started.
The second I left Victor's office, reality hit me like a truck. I was standing in downtown Dallas holding a locked metal box with exactly 24 hours to somehow make 10 grand. $10,000. Legally. No pressure or anything. I checked the time on my phone. 8:17 a.m. Clock officially ticking. At first, I thought maybe the whole thing was some rich guy prank, like maybe Victor filmed YouTube social experiments for bored billionaires or something. But deep down, I knew this was real. Guys like him don't waste time for fun. So I sat in my car, staring at the box, trying to figure out the play. It wasn't super heavy, no markings, no buttons, just smooth silver metal with a tiny keyhole. Of course, I immediately tried shaking it. Nothing. I even held it up to my ear like a cartoon character. Still nothing. Finally, I called the number on Victor's card, straight to voicemail. I left a message. Hey man, little confused here. Any hints would be cool." No response. Awesome. So now I had two problems. I didn't know what was inside, and I had absolutely zero rich person connections. How exactly was I supposed to sell mystery box air for $10,000? I drove around for almost an hour brainstorming. Pawn shop, collectors, rich weirdos? Nothing made sense. Then my stomach growled so loud it actually scared me. I realized I hadn't eaten since yesterday. So I stopped at this tiny taco place near Deep Ellum and sat outside, still staring at the box like it personally offended me. That's when this older guy at the next table nodded toward it and said, "You gonna open it or marry it?" I laughed awkwardly. Wish I could. He raised an eyebrow. "Locked?" "Yeah." The guy leaned back in his chair. "What's inside?" "No clue." Now, at this point, I probably should have stopped talking, but sleep deprivation and desperation make you overshare. So I explained the whole challenge. The rich guy, the 24 hours, the 10 grand. The old dude listened quietly while eating tacos like this was completely normal conversation. Then, after I finished, he said something weird. Rich people never give random challenges without testing something. I frowned. What's that supposed to mean? He pointed at the box. That ain't the test. Then he got up, threw away his trash, and walked off like some mysterious movie character. Thanks, Taco Yoda. But annoyingly, he got inside my head. Because suddenly, I started wondering, what if the box itself didn't matter? What if Victor was testing creativity, sales, pressure? That changed my mindset instantly. So instead of trying to crack the box open, I started trying to sell the story. And honestly, that worked surprisingly fast. I posted a quick TikTok explaining the challenge. Some millionaire just gave me 24 hours to turn this mystery box into $10,000. Then I showed the box dramatically. Within an hour, the video started blowing up. Comments everywhere. "This has to be fake. Open the box. Bro got recruited by the Illuminati." One comment stood out, though. A local content creator with like 500K followers commented, "Pull up to my studio." I messaged him instantly. 30 minutes later, I was driving across town, praying I wasn't about to get robbed. The creator's studio was inside this converted warehouse filled with cameras, neon lights, and energy drinks. Peak influencer habitat. The guy introducing himself was named Jay, super hyper, talked at 2x speed, definitely hadn't slept properly in years. He grabbed the box immediately. "Bro, this is viral." I nodded. "Cool, but I need money." Jay grinned. "Exactly." Within minutes, he had an idea. We'd live stream the challenge, mystery box, 24-hour countdown, public reactions, and people could donate to help unlock the story. At first, I thought it sounded dumb. Then I remembered my bank account had $38, so suddenly it sounded genius. We went live around noon. At first, maybe 50 people watched, then 100, then thousands. Jay kept hyping everything up like we'd discovered alien technology. Guys, this dude has less than 24 hours to make $10,000. The chat exploded. People started donating small amounts, $5, $10, 20. Not huge money, but momentum. Then somebody donated $500 and wrote, "Don't trust the millionaire." That got everyone paranoid instantly. Suddenly, chat turned into conspiracy theories. People clipped the stream. TikTok reposts started spreading. Viewership jumped again. And for the first time all day, I felt hope. By late afternoon, we'd made almost $2,300 from donations, sponsorship offers, and stream revenue, which honestly blew my mind, but still nowhere near $10,000. Then things got weird. A guy wearing a designer suit showed up at the studio asking about the box. Didn't give his name, didn't smile once, just stared directly at me and asked, "How much do you want for it?" The room went quiet instantly. I swallowed hard. I don't even know what's inside. He reached into his jacket and placed a business card on the table, then calmly said, "I'll offer you $5,000 right now." $5,000, cash, for a locked mystery box. That's when I realized something terrifying. Victor knew exactly what was inside, and apparently other rich people did too. The second the guy offered $5,000 for the box, every survival instinct in my body woke up, because rich people don't throw around money that casually unless something is very valuable or very dangerous. The studio suddenly felt smaller. Jay looked at me like, "Bro, what is happening?" Meanwhile, the suited guy stayed completely calm. No emotion, no excitement, just confidence, like he already knew he'd eventually get the box one way or another. I tried sounding casual. "Why do you want it?" He smiled slightly. "Because the person who gave it to you enjoys gains." That answer somehow made things worse. I frowned. "You know Victor?" The man ignored the question. Instead, he pulled out his phone, checked the time, then looked directly at me. "My offer expires in 1 hour." Then he turned and walked out. No handshake, no goodbye, just gone. The second the studio door closed, Jay lost his mind. "Bro, sell it!" I stared at the business card left on the table. No company logo, no title, just a phone number and the name Ethan Cross. I rubbed my face. This whole thing feels weird. Jay laughed nervously. "Yeah, because you're living inside a Netflix thriller right now." The live stream chat was going insane too. People clipped the interaction instantly. Comments flying. "Do not trust the suit guy. The box definitely has crypto keys. This is some Squid Game billionaire stuff." Honestly, at that point, I kind of agreed. But here was the problem. $5,000 was life-changing money to me. That could cover rent, debt, car repairs, food. Half the challenge goal for doing basically nothing. And yet, something in my gut told me not to sell. Not yet. So I told Jay, "We keep going." He stared at me like I was insane. "Bro, you might be turning down free money." "Yeah," I said slowly, "but if somebody's offering $5,000 this early, the box is probably worth way more." That sentence changed the energy completely. Now we weren't chasing donations anymore. Now we were hunting leverage. Jay immediately switched into content mode. We started calling collectors, investors, random wealthy contacts he knew through social media. Most thought we were idiots. A few thought it was brilliant marketing. But then, around 6 p.m., somebody finally bit. A private collector named Adrian invited us to his penthouse downtown. And let me tell you something, rich collector dudes are different. This man owned ancient watches, signed sports memorabilia, paintings that probably cost more than neighborhoods. His apartment looked like a billionaire museum. Adrian sat us down calmly while examining the box with white gloves. Actual white gloves. I whispered to Jay,
This dude definitely owns a tiger somewhere. Adrian ignored me completely. After about 10 minutes studying the box, he finally said, "This is custom." I leaned forward instantly. "What does that mean?" He pointed near the bottom corner. Tiny engraving. VH. Victor Hale. Adrian looked at me carefully. Victor doesn't give objects away randomly. That sentence again. Everybody kept talking about Victor like he was some mythological rich person. I asked, "Who is this guy?" Adrian smiled slightly. "Depends who you ask." Great. Super helpful. Then Adrian dropped the real bomb. "I believe this box is part of one of Victor's tests." I blinked. Tests? To find entrepreneurs, investors, ambitious people. Jay whispered, "I knew this was rich people's Squid Game." Adrian continued, "Victor made his fortune identifying opportunity before others could see it." Then he looked directly at me. "So, the question is, what have you done with the opportunity?" That hit me harder than expected, because suddenly I realized something. This entire day, I'd been focused on the box, but the box itself had already created a viral stream, connections, attention, money, meetings with wealthy people. The opportunity wasn't inside the box, the opportunity was the box. Bro, my brain genuinely rebooted, and right then, I finally started playing the game correctly. I stood up immediately. "Jay, we're auctioning access." He frowned. "What?" I grabbed a marker and wrote on the whiteboard, "Winner gets exclusive opening rights live at midnight." Jay's eyes widened slowly. Oh. Now suddenly the mystery mattered more unopened than opened. People online lost their minds. The stream exploded bigger than before. Clips spread everywhere, creators reacting, drama pages reposting, TikTok detectives making theories. By 9 p.m., we had sponsorship offers flooding in, energy drink brands, betting apps, crypto weirdos, and the bids started climbing. $2,000, $4,000, $7,500 for access, not even ownership. I sat there staring at the numbers, feeling like I accidentally hacked reality. Then, around 10 p.m., Victor finally texted me for the first time all day. 3 words, "Now you're thinking." And honestly, that message scared me more than anything else so far.
By 10 p.m., the stream had officially become complete chaos. Not bad chaos either. Million view chaos. The viewer count kept climbing every few minutes. Clips were all over TikTok. Twitter was arguing about whether the box contained crypto keys, diamonds, government secrets, or some rich guy's psychological experiment. Honestly, at that point, I didn't even care anymore. Because for the first time in years, I wasn't the broke, invisible guy. I was the center of attention. And weirdly, that feeling was addictive as hell. Jay turned the studio into a full production overnight. Lights everywhere, countdown timer on screen, dramatic music, sponsors throwing money at us. At one point, he looked at me and yelled, "Bro, we're basically a TV show now." And somehow, he wasn't wrong. The bids for the midnight opening kept climbing too. $9,000, then $12,000. Then a crypto millionaire offered $15,000 live on stream just for the rights to physically open the box himself. I stared at the message in disbelief. 12 hours earlier, I couldn't afford decent shampoo. Now rich strangers were fighting over mystery box privileges. Life is weird. But while the internet celebrated, something still felt off. Victor's text kept replaying in my head. "Now you're thinking." Not "good job," not "congrats," almost like he expected this outcome from the beginning. That thought started bothering me badly. So around 11 p.m., while Jay handled the stream, I stepped outside the studio alone for air. Big mistake, because parked across the street was the same black Mercedes from Victor's office building, engine running, dark windows, just sitting there, watching. The second I noticed it, the passenger window rolled down slightly, and Victor himself looked out, calm as ever. Bro looked like a billionaire supervillain. He motioned for me to come over. Now every smart survival instinct said absolutely not, but curiosity won again. I crossed the street carefully. Victor didn't even greet me.
He simply asked, "How much have you made so far?" I told him the number. His eyebrow raised slightly. Impressive. Then he looked toward the studio windows glowing across the street. "You figured it out faster than most people." I frowned. Figured what out? Victor smiled faintly. That people will always pay more for possibility than reality. That line hit hard, because he was right. Nobody actually cared what was inside the box anymore. The mystery itself became valuable. The story became valuable. The attention became valuable. Victor studied my face for a second before asking, "So what happens after midnight?" I opened my mouth, then realized I had no idea. Because eventually the box gets opened, the mystery dies, the attention disappears. Victor nodded slowly, like he already knew my thoughts. "That," he said quietly, "is the difference between people who get lucky once and people who build something lasting." Then he handed me a small envelope. Inside was a key, tiny silver key, probably for the box. I looked up instantly. "That's it? That's what opens it?" Victor shrugged. "Maybe." Then he added, "One more thing." His expression finally turned serious. "Whatever happens next, don't lie to the audience." And with that, the Mercedes pulled away, leaving me standing there holding a tiny key and 1,000 new questions. I walked back into the studio feeling completely different, because suddenly this didn't feel like a random challenge anymore. It felt intentional, like Victor had been studying me all day, testing decisions, pressure, creativity, integrity. Meanwhile, inside the studio, absolute madness. The live stream crossed 300,000 live viewers. 300,000! Jay was basically vibrating from excitement. "Bro, we're trending everywhere." Sponsors kept increasing offers. The final auction bid hit $22,000. $22,000 for opening rights. We officially passed the original challenge goal. And the crazy part, we still hadn't even opened the box. Chat spam non-stop. "Open it. What's inside? This is insane." Midnight got closer, tension rising, viewers climbing, my heartbeat going crazy. Then, finally, 11:59 p.m., Jay dimmed the studio lights dramatically. The countdown started on screen. 10, 9, 8. The chat moved so fast it looked broken. 7, 6, 5. I held the silver key tightly in my hand. 4, 3, 2. Midnight. The room went silent. I stepped toward the table slowly, hundreds of thousands watching live. I inserted the key into the lock, turned it carefully. Click. The box unlocked, and right before opening it, my phone buzzed one final text from Victor. "Your real 24 hours start now."
Before you go, hit that like button and subscribe for more unbelievable stories just like this one. See you in the next story.